Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, Two Blokes Chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
I love the opportunity that we have now in the latter part of last year. Last year it was. I had the privilege of convening a women's cricket forum, and I met a young lady by the name of Sarah Pike, and she had a bit of an impact on me, and I thought, must get her on the radio one day. She sounds like fun. The day's finally come. Sarah Pike, good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you aboard. Really thrilled with what's happening in the region around Geelong cricket, and it was great, Geelong women's cricket, and it was great to be at that meeting and see the enthusiasm that was coming from other members, but particularly yourself. You're a player at the Geelong Cricket Club, but also very keen to advance cricket in the region, which is a great thing. But when did the cricket bug first hit you?
Okay. A cricket bug probably first hit me back when I was a very wee young lass. I used to play with the boys when I was sort of 8 years old, up through that local comp down in Hamilton, and absolutely loved it. So, yeah, always enjoyed it. There wasn't a huge amount of opportunity back then for girls to be playing, so playing in the local boys comp was always good. But I was really lucky down in our region. We had Stephen Field at the time created a competition called Super 8, and that went through all the schools pretty much in the whole sort of regional area, and got all the girls playing in the schools that wouldn't usually have that opportunity, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun. So pretty much from that point, I just loved it. I didn't follow through with my cricket sort of, after that period, and I took about 20 years off and decided last year was the year to make an entrance, my comeback.
Did you go through the football thing and other sports? Was it a case of wanting to just be at the same level of the boys, or was it cricket itself that got you involved?
It was cricket itself. I was pretty focused on basketball as a kid, but cricket was just always. I just loved the sport. It was always just there in the background, and any chance I could to have a hit and go play with someone. I absolutely took it. So I also enjoyed football, but there just wasn't that opportunity. The girls just didn't play football back when I was growing up. Unfortunately, as much as I would have loved to, but I sort of focused more on the basketball and the cricket side.
And what did life serve up to get you into our region?
I moved to Geelong after I finished school and started studying at Deakin, which only lasted about 6 months, and I started working with Telstra, and found my home and absolutely enjoyed everything, all the different aspects of Geelong and the region, and I haven't left. So.
And the link to cricket, you mentioned the name Stephen Field. He was a great warrior for the game in the Hamilton region, but now does some work around Geelong. Was that link that got you to the Geelong Cricket Club?
No, it wasn't, but I have since run into him and been doing a little bit of work with him, and he's trying to turn me into an off-spinner. He took me under his wing when I was a kid and tried to make me into a cricketer, and I think he's still determined that maybe I could be a reasonable player.
Yeah, and the off-spinning craft is one of the very best. So you listen very carefully to what he tells you, and you follow on, because there's few of us around, and we need more. So practice hard.
I'm practicing. I have nearly got my callus formed on my finger, and I've been keep cutting it open trying to get that spin happening, but it's just not happening for me at the moment. So I just got to keep going.
It'll come. Don't worry about that.
Sarah, it's Neil here. I was always told that you only become an off-spinner when you're too old to bowl fast. That's what they used to tell me.
It's exactly what happened, actually.
Hey, I'm fascinated. I was a teacher about 150 years ago, and I taught a young girl at Langwarrin Secondary College. Her name was Jane Franklin. She wanted to play representative cricket for Australia. She would now be, I guess, she'd be coming mid-40s, late 40s, that sort of age group. When she was playing cricket at that age, she was living in Frankston and driving up to Box Hill to play because no one played cricket. What do you reckon's been the tide the thing that has pushed women's cricket into being not only an acceptable form of exercise, an acceptable sport, but something that people actually want to do? What was the change, do you reckon?
A good question.
I thought so.
Yeah, well played.
Thank you very much. Yeah, just outside off stump, doing the right areas, I think, is the expression one uses.
That's right. I think the programs, down. I mean, through Metro and around there, there's always been that women's cricket drive. They've had those teams and the pathway sort of gradually developing and coming through. From a regional perspective, I think those school programs and the different pathway programs that Cricket Victoria did put in place, and people like Stephen, really passionate and driving that sort of love and acceptance for girls to get involved was a really big impact. I think, the Australian women's cricket team's obviously so successful now. They're just inspiring so many kids to get out there and give it a go and have some fun and give it a try. I think that's a very big factor at the moment with how successful they are and how much publicity they're getting as to, all sorts of age groups and girls wanting to, give it a go and see where they can take it. So.
And I'm interested you say that because that was, I think, what was in my head. That was one of the turning points. And I think the thing that comes back to it is, this whole question of, the men's BBL and the women's BBL theoretically are the same competition, right? We've got teams from each state, same colours, all that sort of stuff. And yet, the girls' games are on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and the men's games are on at 7:30 at night, when under lights and crowds. And, to me, at least the BBL, the women's BBL is at least getting broadcast now. It wasn't 2 or 3 years ago. I would have thought that just needs to, it's almost like a snowball thing, isn't it? The more people play, the more they'll watch, more people will play. I think that's got to come into it, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think it's progressing really well. Like you said, even to have it broadcast regularly in the afternoons, and they're starting to get some pretty decent crowds coming through. But yeah, absolutely, you need that participation, and the girls wanting to be involved and enjoying it, and then yes, they'll want to go watch, they want to get involved, and hopefully grow those crowds a bit and get them aired a bit more on TV, but I think it's coming along really well. It's the same with women's football, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's sort of that participation really spiked, and we've seen a really good follow through with the the broadcasting.
Well, I think the other thing that helps too is when you've got names like Elise Perry and Alyssa Healy and Meg Lanning, names that people, I was going to say roll off the tongue. He said stumbling through the second one. I've had a late night last night, sorry. But, 5 years ago, you would struggle to find anybody except for a cricket fanatic who would know any of the names of the Australian women players. But now having Lisa doing and Karen doing some of the broadcasting during the men's games, I think it's becoming really a bit about having an identity that girls can aspire to as well when they're growing up.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, they're absolutely becoming household names. It's so good that and they're just such great role models for the girls coming through, and can actually show that you can actually make this a career and do something with your sport. So yeah, it's great.
Now, Sarah, I know you're doing a bit of work getting girls into the game and helping to grow the game locally, which is fantastic. You mentioned the footy, and the footy phenomenon for some reason has grabbed the attention of girls wanting to participate in what is traditionally a male-dominated sport with great success. Because of the connection with grounds and clubs around Geelong, are you doing a bit of work to try and tap into that football group to get them into cricket?
Probably not specifically. We're finding that the girls that are playing cricket are actually playing football anyway. So they're talented kids, and they just want to play sport. So they're sort of, in the winter they're playing the footy, in the summer they're playing the cricket. But yeah, I mean, that's probably not a bad concept. But we're not specifically going after those football players and swinging them at the moment. So I think at the moment we just want to focus on getting some of those young players through and working on their development and showing them that there can be a great pathway for girls in our region through the Geelong Cricket Club.
Because part of the problem would be real estate too, I would have thought. There's only so many cricket grounds, and they can, a game goes for as long as a game goes, unless you're playing them at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. The ovals are pretty much full up at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the challenges that we're finding with women's cricket growing. Is getting the ovals available and getting the turf wickets in our area can certainly raise a couple of challenges, which I know we're constantly working with. But yeah, at some stage it'd be great to have a look at potentially developing some other areas around Geelong and popping a few extra ovals in to ease the load, because it is certainly going to continue to be a bit of a stress as the women's cricket game grows.
Now, as a social concept, women playing sport to me has been fantastic because it brings society together, it brings agendas together, and the Geelong Cricket Club do a really good job in bringing the women's and men's teams together, and they're working hard to continue that. You're probably at the forefront of that, and pushing really hard to bridge that gender gap. Are you thinking that this is going to be an easy thing to do with just a little bit of work in that area?
I think so. I mean, we are definitely working on it. I think, there's still a little bit of work to go, but at the end of the day, we've all got the same interests. We all love the game. We all love socialising, and we all love the cricket club. So I think as we progress, and the women have only been involved in the club for a few years now, but it's certainly a priority at the moment to make sure we all have a good time and support each other and can really form that one club mentality. Well,
your co-tenants at Cardinia Park, the AFL men's and women's and VFL men's and women's footy teams are doing it really, really well, and I think the template's already there to follow, and it's been hugely successful to share resources and skills, if you like, and
yep.
I would think it's probably the best way to really grow the game. And we do look now at the Geelong Cricket Club being at the pointy end of cricket in the region. We have a lot more interest for younger people wanting to get to the club to be the best they can be. And I don't think it'll be too long before the girls' game will have the same model. And I'm really pleased that you're driving it, because it needs a personality like you to do it. So have you got the energy for this as a long-term thing, or we don't want to lose you to the game for 20 years like we did when you stopped playing in Hamilton?
No, I've had my break now, so I'm back, and I absolutely love it. I've had the best 8 months being involved in the club, and pretty much the minute I walked in, I got this little buzz about, okay, this could be really something special with the women. So I've definitely got a lot of energy for it, a lot of passion for it. We've got a great team. Paul running the show and present. We've got our new coaches in that are just. We're really lucky in the women's program to have got Scott Lindsay. He's extremely passionate about growing our program and also forming that closing that bridge between the men and the women and progressing that development side as well. So we're really excited at the moment. It's going to be a really good time to get involved in the club for any sort of younger players or any players that have ever wanted to. Now's the time, because it is an exciting period for us at the moment.
How are you dealing with the crazy world we're living in at the moment? Has it affected your life in general? Because you are a very social person, and I'll probably, like myself, struggling a bit without that personal interaction. Are you getting enough to get by, or is it doing it tough?
Look, I've certainly had a couple of moments of, I think my husband would describe it as annoying crazy, but
That's not what he'd call it to you, not describe it when he's within earshot, surely.
I know. He said some other things, but yeah, it's been fine. I've actually enjoyed the time where you get to actually. There's no reason to just stay at home all weekend these days. So it's actually kind of been nice to have those patches where you can't go anywhere. There's no reason, so you just have to stay home and do your jobs and work on different bits and pieces. So I haven't found it too difficult, but I'm really looking forward to catching up with friends and family. I've already started had a couple of friends over last night, which was that was exciting.
That's an interesting comment you make about forced to stay home and doing things, and now finding that it's not so bad. Do you think there might be a change in society in general when we do get back to some sort of normality, that home mightn't be such a bad place to be?
I think so. I think so, and I don't know how long it will last. But like even myself, I would very rarely be home on a weekend, or I'd certainly never cook on a weekend. I'd always be out doing stuff and catching up with people. So I think for me, I've even thought about, I'm like, maybe I could actually move to the country and be out of town and
grow your own vegetables and stuff like that.
And I do. I've got a veggie patch in my backyard, my little concrete backyard. I've got a couple of tubs and I grow my veggies. But yeah, I've been thinking maybe I could just move to the country and have a orchard and a big veggie patch and not have to go out and do things. So, that's been my sort of transition.
Well, Rob hasn't only just got a veggie patch in his backyard, he's got about half a dozen lambs running around as well. He's got a veritable roast dinner running around his backyard.
No, none of them will make the pot, my friend. They're all family pets now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Tasteless. Yeah, I just think the whole isolation thing would be fine if they said, right, on the first weekend of every month, it's isolation weekend. I don't think it's been the fact staying at home. It's just been the fact of, that whole, 8 or 9 or 10 of them in a row that's driven people to the wall.
Yeah. No, it's been good. I must admit I've enjoyed the change. Just to slow down, it's probably, I imagine you have lived a pretty vibrant life anyway, but when I was a youngster, which was many years ago, this was pretty much norm. Home a lot, you just slow down, relax. You had genuine rest time where you did nothing. Yep. And I think life has changed so much we don't really do that anymore, but this has forced us to do it, and I think some people might find, actually, this isn't too bad, and hopefully it'll become the new norm.
Yeah, no, it's been all right. I've done plenty of jigsaws and
jigsaws. Used to do heaps of them when I was a kid.
They're really annoying.
That's because electricity wasn't invented when Rob was a boy. That's the thing.
Jigsaws should not have blue sky patches in them, though, Sarah. That should be banned.
Yeah, no, I've experienced that, and yes, they're quite frustrating.
Sarah, we appreciate your time. We look forward to talking to you more again when we get to what will hopefully be a relatively normal cricket season come October, November. It might even be as late as December, but as long as it gets going. And we'll spend a lot of time talking about what's happening at the Geelong Cricket Club. And as the new board member in control of the women's cricket department, you will be the conduit to that, and we look forward to talking to you some more.
Excellent. Thanks very much.
No worries. All the very best. Sarah Pike, Geelong Cricket Club, a real driver for the advancement of women's cricket in the not just the Geelong Cricket Club, but the entire Geelong region. And we wish her all the very best. She's got the right energy and passion for the job, that's for sure.
She sure does.